Well, hey everyone, this is Mr. Pearson, and I'm here with my good friend Gus. And today we have a special treat just for you all. So, in my own class that I teach, some of my students have been writing stories about Gus's adventures after we leave school. Now, to make sure that he doesn't go on any adventures, I brought him home with me. We're here in my office, and in just a moment, I'm going to share those stories with you. This story, starring our buddy Gus, is called Gus and Komodo Dragons, and it's by one of my favorite authors, Natalie. Once upon a time, there was a little dragon named Gus. Gus lived in room 210 with Mr. Pearson and all the children. Gus loved room 210 and all the people in it, but what he loved most was Komodo dragons. One night, after all the children and Mr. Pearson went home, Gus was getting ready for bed. Gus put on his favorite PJs. They had Komodo dragons on them. He brushed his teeth with his favorite toothpaste. It was called Komodo Dragon Shine. And after he brushed his teeth, it was time to read his favorite book called Komodo Dragon Adventures. Now it was time to sleep. He closed his eyes and dreamed of, as you can probably guess, Komodo dragons. But then a bright light woke him up. He looked out the window to see what the bright light was. He saw a big, bright star. Gus had seen this stuff in movies. Maybe he could wish on the star, and maybe his wish would come true. So he wished on the star, and he wished to be a Komodo dragon. Then, with a bang and a boom, Gus was on a dragon island. Gus looked at his tail. It was dark green and very scaly. Gus looked at his claws. They were bigger and sharper than ever. Gus looked at his tongue. It was pointed like a snake. Then he realized that his dream, his wish, had been granted. He was officially a Komodo dragon. Gus was very excited that he didn't know what to do first. He could roam around the beach, or he could explore the jungle. He could smell the flowers with his amazing sense of smell, or he could hunt the water buffalo in the meadow. Gus chose to explore the jungle. Good choice, my man. 3 weeks went by, and Gus was still a Komodo dragon. Meanwhile, in room 210, all the children were very worried about Gus. But the person who was most worried about Gus was Mr. Pearson. Mr. Pearson wanted Gus back safe and sound. Back at Dragon Island, Gus was having so much fun. He had eaten 17 water buffalo and smelled about 100 trillion flowers. The sun was setting. And Gus missed his Komodo dragon PJs. Gus missed his Komodo dragon toothpaste. Gus missed room 210 and all the people in it. But what he missed the most was Mr. Pearson. Gus looked up at the sky and saw a big, bright light. It was the wishing star. He wished on the wishing star, and with a bang and a boom, Gus was a dragon again. And so that night, Gus flew back to room 210. He put on his favorite PJs. They had Komodo dragons on them. He brushed his teeth with his favorite toothpaste called Komodo Dragon Shine. And after he brushed his teeth, it was time to read his favorite book called Komodo Dragon Adventures. Now it was time to sleep, but this time he dreamed about room 210 and all the people in it. That morning, all the children were very happy to see Gus, but the person who was most happy to see Gus was Mr. Pearson. But boy, was Gus in trouble. The end. So yes, sir, Gus, you were in trouble for running away for 3 weeks. So again, this story was written by one of my favorite authors, a young lady named Natalie, and her book was called Gus and Komodo Dragons. I hope you enjoyed it.